In the vastness of space, under a sky filled with stars, humanity has always looked upward and wondered, are we truly bound to this tiny corner of the universe? Could we, one day, not only leave our solar system, but even journey beyond our galaxy, the Milky Way? This question, can we ever leave the Milky Way, sits at the intersection of imagination and science. It's a theme long explored in science fiction, where starships leap across galaxies in an instant. But when we turn our attention to reality, physics, technology, and time, the picture becomes far more complicated and yet profoundly fascinating. In this video, we'll explore the real science behind this question. We'll look at the size and structure of the Milky Way, our current capabilities, the speeds and energy required to escape the galaxy, theoretical propulsion ideas like warp drives and wormholes, and finally, whether intergalactic travel is a scientific possibility or just a distant dream. Let's begin with the basics. The Milky Way is our home galaxy. It's not just a backdrop to our night sky, it is a massive, rotating disk of stars, dust, gas, dark matter, and mysterious cosmic forces. It contains over 100 billion stars, including our Sun, and likely trillions of planets. The Milky Way is about 100,000 to 200,000 light-years across. That means if you could travel at the speed of light 300,000 kilometers per second, it would still take you 100,000 to 200,000 years just to cross it, from one end to the other. And that's assuming you're taking the shortest route through the galactic disk. To visualize this scale, consider this: Earth's moon is roughly 1 light second away. The Sun is about 8 light minutes. The nearest star system, Alpha Centauri, is over 4 light years. The edge of the galaxy, tens of thousands of light years. We are located in one of the spiral arms of the galaxy, known as the Orion Arm. The solar system orbits the galactic center at about 220 kilometers per second, and it takes roughly 225 million years to complete a full orbit. So, just stepping outside our galaxy means covering tens of thousands of light years and possibly more, depending on the path. That alone presents a colossal challenge. Now, let's talk about what we can do today. In 1977, NASA launched Voyager 1 and Voyager 2. These spacecraft were designed to explore the outer planets. Today, over 4 decades later, Voyager 1 has just passed beyond the heliopause edge of the Sun's influence and entered interstellar space. But even this remarkable craft is still within the Milky Way and always will be. Voyager 1 is traveling at around 17 kilometers per second, which is about 61,000 kilometers per hour. At that speed, it would take over 70,000 years just to reach the nearest star and many millions of years to exit the Milky Way. These are astonishing timescales, and Voyager 1 is the fastest spacecraft we've ever built for deep space travel. Sounds perfect, right? The problem is that it requires exotic matter with negative energy density, something that has never been observed and might not exist. Moreover, the energy required might exceed the mass energy of entire planets or stars. Then there are wormholes, hypothetical tunnels through space-time that connect distant parts of the universe. In theory, a wormhole could offer a shortcut between 2 galaxies. But again, stabilizing a wormhole would require exotic matter, and no observational evidence suggests they exist. These concepts are tantalizing but remain in the realm of theoretical physics, with no practical way to implement them yet. If we can't go fast, maybe we could go slow and steady. That's the idea behind generation ships, massive space habitats where humans live, reproduce, and die over centuries or millennia, while the ship drifts toward a distant destination. The concept has been popular in science fiction and could, in principle, allow us to travel interstellar or even intergalactic distances provided we're willing to spend tens or hundreds of thousands of years in transit. Of course, building a closed ecosystem that can support human life for that long is a monumental task. We'd also need to ensure the crew's survival against radiation, system failures, and social breakdown over generations. A more realistic alternative might be to send AI-powered probes machines that can withstand deep space conditions, repair themselves, and perhaps carry instructions for building life or civilization upon arrival. But again, even with these, the timescales remain staggering. Let's assume for a moment that we find a way to build a ship that can travel at 10% the speed of light, a monumental achievement in itself. At that speed, it would take about 500,000 years to reach the edge of the Milky Way. About 25 million years to reach the Andromeda Galaxy, our closest spiral galaxy neighbor. These numbers are beyond human civilization's history. We've only been around for a few 100,000 years. Recorded history spans just a few thousand years. Can we imagine a civilization surviving, technologically and socially, over millions of years? That's the kind of challenge we face if we want to leave the Milky Way using realistic technology. Even at light speed, which we currently cannot achieve, the journey to another galaxy would take millions of years. This brings us to a deeper question: why do we want to leave the galaxy? Is it curiosity? Survival? Expansion? Many scientists argue that before we even think of leaving the galaxy, we must learn to thrive within it. Our solar system alone offers enormous potential planets, moons, and asteroids that could be colonized or explored for centuries to come. The Milky Way itself is filled with opportunities, billions of stars and countless planets. We barely scratched the surface. But the dream of intergalactic travel represents more than ambition. It's a symbol of our desire to transcend limits, to imagine the impossible, to explore not just new worlds, but new realms of understanding. Even if we never leave the Milky Way, the very act of turning off researching, dreaming, and reaching pushes science, technology, and imagination forward. So, can we ever leave the Milky Way? With today's technology, no. Not even close. With near-future technology, probably not. With wildly speculative technology, maybe. But with our current understanding of physics, the answer is not in any foreseeable future. But that doesn't make the question meaningless. On the contrary, it challenges us to think bigger, to develop technologies we once thought impossible, and to dream beyond the stars we see. Perhaps one day, in a future we can barely comprehend, our descendants or their descendants will look back at Earth from the edge of the galaxy and remember that it all started with a question. A question born from wonder: can we ever leave the Milky Way?